start the recording here. So welcome to our March MSUA member meeting. We have a lot of great new exciting programs to share with you today, and a guest speaker, Jennifer Hoyle from ST Engineering iDirect, that is going to introduce a new program for us today as well. So let's into it. As I mentioned, we have a new member initiative that we're launching today. I'll also give an update on the Mobile Satellite Innovation Awards, which I know you'll all be very excited to hear about. And I'll talk about MSUA's Game Changers Live and some interesting upcoming information on the Pulse as well. So let's jump into the new member initiative, and I would love to introduce Jennifer Hoyle. Again, she's with ST Engineering iDirect. So Jennifer, I'll let you go ahead and take the floor.
Okay, great. Thanks, Lisa. Hey, everyone. I feel like I'm really close to my camera. Too much information. Okay, gonna go over this user member initiative, which Lisa mentioned last month. And the really big idea is how do we get more end users, which is part of our namesake, to participate in MSUA. And then how do we make that participation beneficial to an end user and to ourselves, who are largely service provider or vendor technology partner type of organizations. So the idea is to create two categories of membership. One is the service provider member, which is what we would all be, and then to create a new class of membership for end user members. And in order to develop some enthusiasm around this, this initiative, what we'd like to do is consider this first year as the inaugural class and kind of really bring some more visibility than maybe we would in future years, I don't know, to the group that we would bring into the organization. And so the first thing is that for end users, it would be a complimentary membership for the first year. Perhaps we really, Lisa and I and the other members of the advisory group, we haven't really talked about what happens during the second year. And I guess I should have prefaced with saying all of this, I think, is to some extent up for discussion. So if people feel like, you know, there's some adjustments to the initiative before we roll it out, I think everything's open for discussion, but at least complimentary for the first year. And in order to make it a little bit more, again, looking for benefits on both sides of the equation, our idea is that each service provider member gets to nominate one end user member organization. And in so doing, and the deadline for that, it would be the end of June, because as we'll talk about in future slides, we'll unveil them at the Satellite MSUA Awards event. So, and we really want to bring them into the organization as a group, as a cohort, so to speak. And the last point on this slide is simply that a user organization is just any organization that's leveraging satellite services or has plans to. It could be a customer of yours, it could be a prospect of yours, it could be an adjacent organization in some way, but they just have to fall under that criteria. So you want to go to the next slide, Lisa? And if anyone has questions as I'm going, feel free to stop me. So then we're like, okay, we want to have more end users. What do we have to offer to end users as an association? And so we tried to be pretty explicit and to have it be of real and immediate value. So the first thing would be visibility, and which would include, and that's not limited to, but a press release during Satellite 2021, and really, as I said, bringing excitement to the fact that they're part of this inaugural member class group. And then networking would be the second complementary benefit. So if we invite company XYZ and they decide to become an end user member, then they are eligible for 2 free tickets to the MSUA awards event, as long as we, the nominating company, also purchase at least 2 tickets to the same event. And so part of the idea, and I don't know if I ended up leaving it in here to say explicitly, but part of the idea is that the service provider member sort of acts as a sponsor in a way, or a big brother, big sister kind of guide or shepherd to the end user company within our organization. And it's not to say that they can't, there isn't going to be a lot of cross communication between the end users or between the end users and other service provider members. It's not meant to be territorial in any way, but it is meant to be like you're selecting this company and you're kind of like offering them this kind of bouquet of benefits for becoming an inaugural member. So then also content, and we all, I think most of us know, at least if you're in any layer of my side of the business organization, that content and developing content is, that's huge value. And so we would offer to them, and again, they're not paying for their membership, so they would be eligible for 1 Game Changers Live. They'd be eligible for a Pulse. Potentially those transcripts, they go to Sat News. Potentially they get picked up in some way by Sat News. So and then stuff like social media and the press release, these are visibility opportunities that obviously they can leverage within their own marketing organizations to just build visibility. And then they would also be able to avail themselves to all of the regular discounts that all MSUA members get to have. And then the service provider benefits, we are thinking that the opportunity to go to a specific company and say, we get 1 invitation. I mean, you have as many invitations as you want, but you only get to nominate 1. So once you picked 1 and they accept, then you're done. So, you're basically getting the opportunity to go to a chosen customer, prospect, what have you, and say, I have this to offer, and we're choosing to offer it to you. And so then it's an opportunity to have leadership to help them to enjoy their benefits. So if it's, in 6 months you say, okay, we noticed you haven't done a Game Changers Live yet, let's schedule that. Or you haven't done a Pulse yet, let's schedule that. So it gives you it gives you the opportunity to really build the relationship with that end user company. And then the last slide, I think, is just the process. So what we envision is that you determine what company you want to nominate. And what we're going to create is probably an e-blast invitation type of file that you can probably forward to the contact person that you decide is the right person. And you can obviously put your own spin on it in your email, but it would lay out with a nice format, like here's all the bells and whistles that you get. And then once they accept the nomination, you would submit, Lisa's going to create a little form where you would submit obviously the name of the organization, a marketing contact, a main contact, and get their logo so we can put that on the website. And in order to be named to the inaugural class, they do need to be in the fold by June 30th. And what's this last thing? I kind of already said this, but then your job after that as a service provider member is to just make sure that you're kind of keeping tabs on that end user. Because I think what we don't want to do is have a few end users who join and then like we never talk to them or include them into the fold. One thing that isn't mentioned here, and I don't know that Lisa and I and the advisory group ever finalized, but we weren't necessarily thinking that these members would come, for example, to this meeting, at least not in this first year, because the idea is really not yet inviting them to have to do work. We're trying to bring value to them because we want to, obviously, we want to gain from them the information that they can offer us about how their business works and what they need from us so we can do a better job at our own companies. So it's really meant to be a very low bar for them in terms of any work that they have to do with a very high value of return. So I think that pretty much covers it. And I'd love to know if people have feedback, if anything feels like a miss, or if you see hiccups in any of it. I think Lisa and I would be really open to hearing that. Or if you're like, this is amazing and I love it, you could say that too.
This is amazing and I love it.
Thank you.
Jennifer, it's Frank. I have a few thoughts.
Yeah.
But first of all, it is amazing. This is great. This is fantastic. This is what we've needed for years. So coming from the secretary position within the association, our members have to be either selling service, providing it, or using it. So there's not a category of using it in the future. That's kind of like wide open. So maybe maybe you can create a category, it's all an adjective or whatever, that is whatever the word would mean for future, but they can't be a member, technically, if they're not a user or a provider. So
affiliate or a friend. I mean, typically we see words, I've seen words like that used in other associations.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
yeah, just something, I mean, we just have to manage that difference. The other thing is during this inaugural, this free period, and I think you've kind of inferred it already, maybe there are some benefits that you don't provide, or maybe some, some involvement that you may not want to, give them. The other thing is that do we want to allow them to vote on association matters and run for the board? My thought is maybe not, because that's a big thing. Getting on the board, all you need to do is be a member for a year, get on the board. So think about whether we want to do that or not. I'm sort of inclined to think that maybe that's not one of the things that's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Frank, just to put I guess another opinion out there on that, I think there may be value in having a user organization or two on the board to have that user perspective, but it's just a thought. I mean, they still need to be nominated and voted in, right? So I think there's still a process for checks and balances there.
Well, no, we want end users on the board. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
absolutely.
I thought you were saying that they wouldn't be eligible.
No.
Oh, I'm glad I clarified then.
During this period where they are free in this
Inaugural year.
This time frame.
Oh, I see.
We're not sure we love you yet, period. Whatever. I don't know. But as we all know, if you pay and you fit the, you're qualified, you can come in. No one has to nominate you. But I know what you're talking about is a nomination for this category of being free for the year. So I mean, I think this is all great. I'm just letting you know the little minutia of it is we want end users, but we may not want to have them run on the board during their testing the kicking.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Sure. That makes sense.
The other thought is, you mentioned that service providers can nominate. I'm thinking maybe it's just any member can nominate, because we shouldn't really be differentiating. We don't have category of membership called service provider membership. Our membership is either your corporate member, small business member, associate, or individual. So I'm just thinking that any member, even if it's we used to have John Deere, by the way. John Deere used to be on the board and be a member, and they were an end user. So I'm not sure you need to differentiate service provider. Just thought.
Yeah, I did not actually mean to differentiate service
Oh,
provider. I was
cool.
simply giving it a name that was opposite of end user, but it really should say any other member. And so maybe we need to think of a different name for that. It's like
Yeah,
any
perfect.
current member, Lisa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I mean, I think that's what we
Yeah,
were thinking.
I think the distinction that we were trying to make is that the whole goal of this initiative is to get the user community that we are, aiming to represent more involved in the organization.
Yeah.
And so we wouldn't, the distinction was made because we wouldn't give a free membership to a service provider. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to make that distinction.
It does, but I'm just saying the nomination can come from
Yes.
any member.
Yes.
But the two, I completely agree.
Yeah.
I think you're spot on there. Yeah, it's good. That's good.
Okay. Well, so
Yeah.
we'll have to figure out how to communicate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's all.
Well,
I'm just trying to make sure that we understand the implications of what we're doing, because
maybe it's just any current member,
Yeah.
right?
I think that's it.
Isn't that
I
what
think
we're
that's it.
saying?
Yep.
And then the last thing I want to note to everyone is that in the last board meeting, we agreed, Lisa, didn't we, that government users would be free members, because we don't think governments are going to be paying to join. Lisa, is this something that you want to weave into this now, or is that just on the side?
I think that we can. I didn't really prepare to talk about that today, but
Okay.
yeah, that is maybe let's plan to talk about that in the April session, just so that we can work out all the details related to that. I don't want to misstate something and then
Yeah.
and then have somebody hold me to something that I didn't mean to
Okay.
announce. So yeah, we will talk about government members, government organizations joining as members in April. And I'm writing myself a note right now to make sure that we talk about that.
Okay. Anyway, those are my only comments. Again, great, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, I do have one question.
Yes.
Yeah, so any member of the organization could nominate one end user organization, or it could be any number of end user organizations?
So it's one. I mean, you can invite one, and if they decline, then you can invite another. You can invite until somebody says yes, but once somebody says yes, then we were going to limit to one. As I'm talking out loud, I'm thinking, as I'm talking out loud, I'm thinking if there's a company out there that has 2 or 3 that they'd like to invite, because obviously not every corporate or every member currently is going to invite somebody. I don't know, maybe that's something that we want to talk about, Lisa, whether we want to make an extension. But I do think like we do really, I personally, I mean, it's not my organization, it's our organization, but I really like the idea that one company is sort of mapped to one other company just for the year to kind of handhold them. And if you bring in several companies, maybe that doesn't kind of work the same way, but maybe that's okay.
Actually, I agree with you. To start with, I think one end user organization per member, I think that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. In my perfect world, it happens every year. And so then next year you do, the new member from this year, the new end user, flies off away from the nest and is on their own. And then you invite another new end user next year.
Jennifer, it's Frank, I just want to chime in very quickly. I think that any number of invitations should be made to invite end users to join the association, but the number that are given an opportunity for this inaugural class, for this free, is limited to whatever you decide. Do you know what I mean? I mean, we want to continue to invite other companies to enjoy the benefits of the association. Do you know what I mean? Just like invitations to join MSUA should be unlimited, but then of course limited within this program of a free year.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts?
Hey, this is John Dark. First of all, I definitely applaud, the intent to include end users and to grow the industry. I think that's strong for everybody. I guess part of my lizard brain though wonders what the value is to me for taking my best customers and introducing them to all my competitors through the industry. And I wonder how you want to address that, or if you've considered that.
We did talk about that at the user advisory group meeting initially, and I think my take on it is, take it for what it's worth, but it's like they're out there anyway, and here's a way to bring value to them. Maybe you don't invite your best customer. Maybe you invite your competitor's best customer. I mean, there's no, there's no reason that you have to pick, the one that you have the super secret deal with that you don't want anybody to get involved in. So I guess I would say there's so many fish in the sea that just pick a different fish would be my take on it. Excuse me.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's hi everyone. It's Rob Myers here from Intelsat. It's my first MSUA meeting.
Hey Rob, welcome.
Hey, thank you. Good to see some some familiar.
Sorry, I'm trying to turn off my kid's iPad. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no problem. So I know what you mean, John, about this this idea of sort of opening up your customers to all of your competitors. But I think we either, don't know, for me it feels like we either make the leap or we don't, because I think we either sort of remain small and insular and protective, or we have ambitions to sort of widen the awareness and make it more inclusive. And I think if you look at our members, I think most, I think it's probably a very good chance that a lot of end users are customers of many of our members, really. There's not a sort of one-to-one correlation. I mean, there may well be. You may have a special customer that nobody knows about, and that customer doesn't know of all the other members of the association. But I think it's more likely that the vast majority of our sort of end users that we might want to invite would certainly be intimately aware of most of the other members of the association. Just an observation. So, because as you were talking, Jennifer, I was thinking, well, why is it just one? But I kind of think that point's been answered. When the question was raised, and the point is, it's one free inaugural membership for an end user organization. But the idea is to widen the awareness and sort of involvement with the MSUA generally. So I think we kind of feels like we either it feels like it's all or nothing somehow for me. The old cliche of being half pregnant. We either invite end users or we don't, because otherwise I don't think it's worth doing it half-heartedly somehow.
Yeah, I think there's a part for me about the one-to-one for this year. Like, I think this is definitely an inflection point year in so many ways, but including for MSUA, you know, with a change in leadership and downturn of every industry in the world in some ways, or not everyone, but nearly. And it's like, I think we need to do some pretty significant hand-holding this year with whatever new members we do bring in, and really be pretty intentional about it. Otherwise, so having a bunch of new members before we're kind of have our legs back under us feels premature to me. Whereas if we do it incrementally, which this would be, maybe we build up a little bit more kind of our strength before we build out further. So
So-
maybe next year we get 2 complementary members. I don't know, but
You want to, yeah, the idea is you're saying sort of walk before we run kind of thing.
yeah, I think so.
This is really good. This is great. I really appreciate all the input. I think this is really, really helpful, these perspectives. So any other thoughts on this program? And certainly if you come up with ideas or thoughts after the call, please feel free to reach out to us. You can hit me up at president@msua.org anytime. So, and Jennifer, I don't know if you want to give out your information, but
Oh, sure. It's jhoyle, HOIL @idirect.net. But Lisa knows how to find me as well. So if you didn't catch that, you can, all roads lead through Lisa.
yes. And I really want to thank Jennifer for all of her work in thinking through this program and, and being part of the advisory group, which I'll give a little plug for the advisory group while I'm talking here. And that is that we do have an MSUA, advisory group, and that's a group of folks that are giving their time and their input on some key topics. And I'll talk about this a little bit more later, but certainly if you're interested in getting involved, or there's somebody you think would be great on that advisory group from within your organization or within another organization, let us know, because these are the types of things that we're doing to make your MSUA membership more valuable. So thank you, Jennifer. I really appreciate
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Okay, as I said at the beginning of the call, please feel free to interrupt at any point. Oh, and actually, Jennifer, you have one more thing to talk about. I forgot.
Oh, yes, right. This one's a lot faster. Okay, so basically, guys, we have to talk more about ourselves a little bit here, or we need to build some bit of momentum. So the first item on here, social media is kind of, okay, we all have to do it, whether we like it or not. So first of all, you need to all get on the LinkedIn company page for MSUA and follow, so that we have a little bit more critical mass there. And then what we are proposing, this was another advisory group initiative, is a pathway to getting a little bit more chatter on that page, a little bit more activity, is that we are going to assign each member company 1 week in the year to post one time during that week. So, your marketing person would go on there through their, it could be through an individual account of somebody at the company, or it could be through your actual company account, and post something ideally about a user. Again, trying to keep this this focus on kind of starting to reorient towards the user. So you'll get assigned a week. It's going to be at random, maybe it'll be alphabetical each week of the year. I'm not sure how many member companies we have, but we'll just space them out. And then one of us will email your main and your marketing contact the week before and say, hey, next week's your week to post something on the LinkedIn page for MSUA. And obviously you're not going to get excommunicated if you do not post your post, but if you do post your post, that will be better. And then I just put in a couple examples. I was thinking like, okay, if ST Engineering iDirect, it was their week to post, what might we use? And these are just two examples. It's two end users. The first one, there's a Hermes trawler from Norway. And then the second one is about a business aviation company that is a customer of one of the service providers that uses our technology. And so, I mean, we've already created these posts, obviously, for our own social media. And it's just, I might myself, if I were the one who was going to put it onto social media, I might, add in some little blurb there about MSUA in some way. But it's really just to start evidencing on the MSUA page what our member companies do and how we impact the end user community. So that's the big idea. You're gonna get an email about it if you are listed as the main contact or the marketing contact for your company. And maybe in that email, if I'm the one who writes it, would include a little bit of this direction, but there's no I don't know, there's nothing secret about it. This is all it is. We want you to post on the LinkedIn page. So totally open to questions about that as well, if any of that is unclear.
I would just add that anytime you post anything to LinkedIn or Twitter, we are proactively watching for our members posting posts, putting things out on social, and we are, retweeting and sharing that content anyway. But certainly, and if you want us to, do anything proactive or pick it up proactively, if you mention MSUA in your posts, we will also be sure to pick those up. So if you don't know what @mentioning is, just ask your marketing person. You just put an @ sign and then MSUA and our profile will come up. That's pretty much it. So yeah.
Does anyone have any questions about this or any reservations about it?
I think that's great. You also make me realize that I'm not really promoting our membership with MSUA, just even on our own website. I don't know if there's anything more complicated than pulling the logo and including that in our About Us page. But do you have something that's kind of prefabricated that you encourage members to use just so we're consistent?
We do. We have a member, we do have member logos. So, I don't think we've proactively, usually we send those out when you pay your membership every year, but I'm not sure if that's happened this year or not. So I will make sure that we get those member logos out to all of our members.
Yeah, I'll definitely update my materials and promote that membership. That's great. Great.
Thanks, John. Okay. Well, thank you again, Jennifer. This is all great stuff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay. So another new thing that just actually went live on the website last night is this members portal. And the reason we're setting this up is so that we can share members only discounts and members only information that isn't public. So I'll jump into a couple of those things in a minute. And on next month's call in April, we'll have several additional things that we're talking about. But the way to get to this place is just under more on our website. There's a menu item called Members Portal. And if you go there, the first time you go there, you'll be asked to sign up for this Members Portal. And we will be approving all of, obviously, member organizations, member representatives into this area of the website. So make sure that you go out and get access. And I'll talk about one of those things. And if you have questions, of course, you can just send a note to marketing@msua.org. But it's pretty simple. It's like a very simple form. It has, I don't know, 5 or 6 fields that are, you know, name, email, your company. So it's pretty simple. So feel free to go out there and make sure you get access to this area, because that's where we're going to be posting everything related to members only information, discounts, what have you, programs. Okay, so speaking of that, we have an MSUA members only discount on the satellite event. MSUA members receive a 20% off discount on their registrations, and that will be, that link and everything is going to be available on our members portal. So if you wanted a direct link to that, you don't want to navigate to it, it's just msua.org/members-portal. But you can get there just by navigating from the homepage as well. So make sure that you get access to that, because we're going to start posting all of our member discounts, all of our, you know, members only information there. Any questions on this?
Quick question, Lisa. It's Rob again. And can multiple people per member organization sign up for that?
Yes.
Portal?
Yes. Yes.
Any limits?
No.
Okay.
No.
Great.
And by the way, so I guess any other questions on that? Sorry, Rob, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No, that was it. It's just that question.
Yep. No limits. Go take advantage of it.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay. So speaking of satellite, we did a survey over the last couple of weeks to get feedback from our members regarding the Satellite Mobile Innovation Awards, which most of you know happens every year during Satellite. And with the Satellite Show now being late July, that I think last full week of July, we did this survey to find out, you know, how many of you are actually planning to go to the Satellite event, how many of you would attend this banquet, what time of day do you want it to be? Do you want it to be breakfast, lunch, or cocktails? All of that. And so we got your feedback. And the bottom line is that the feedback that we got said the show must go on, meaning the great majority of folks were saying, yes, we're going to be at Satellite. Yes, we want to attend the Satellite Mobile Innovation Awards. And so what we've decided to do is go forward with our live luncheon event as we have in past years. Event will occur on Tuesday, the 27th of July. And then we're also planning to add virtual support for remote attendees. So even if your organization or some folks from your organization aren't going to attend the event, they would still be able to watch it virtually. So we're going to set that up. And then the added benefit of all this is that since we're doing the virtual piece of it as well, the event will be recorded. And in past years, we haven't recorded the event. I'm not really sure why, but we haven't. So the kind of added benefit is that we will be recording that event. And we are also adding broader award categories. So I will talk about that in a minute too. But any questions about just the fact that we're actually going to go forward with the live innovation awards with a virtual component? Okay, so right now on our homepage, and then also on this new awards page on our website, you can, one, begin to submit your nominations for the awards. And what you'll see when you go into the nomination form, and if we have time, we'll see. If we have time, I'll go out there and I'll show it to you. But in any case, like I said, on our website, you can get to both of these forms right now. So the nomination form, what you'll see is you'll see award categories, but then you'll also see a number of different like use case examples. And so I'm thinking that we're going to end up broadening out the awards categories as a result of doing that. So in any case, make sure you go out there and check out the nomination opportunity. And then also we have sponsorship opportunities for the awards event as well. And there's like a really simple form that says, hey, I'm interested in this level of sponsorship. So again, on the homepage and then on this msua.org/awards page, all of this information is here. All the links are on those pages to get to the forms. So you can begin working on your nominations. And what's really nice about the forms is that you can see all the fields straight away. So you don't have like multiple pages to click through. So if you wanted to like copy and paste that into a Word doc or something like that, work on your submission and then, you know, put it on the actual form, you could do it that way too. So I know, having submitted a lot of awards things, there's it's nice to be able to do that. So any questions on the Satellite Mobile Innovation Awards for 2021? Okay. These are the sponsorship levels that I just mentioned. And again, like I said, homepage has links as well as msua.org/awards. So awards categories, and you can see, obviously there's benefit to being a member. We would obviously allow non-member sponsorships as well. They just have to pay a little bit more. So in any case, these are our sponsorship levels and tickets and so on and so forth. And you will notice that when you if you use the MSUA registration link for satellite, there is an opportunity to purchase individual tickets right through your satellite registration. But I would just make sure within your organization that there's not like a duplication of efforts on that front. And there is it's less expensive if you're buying a table or, you know, on a per person level. So there's some benefits to the sponsorship levels. Aside from all these great things. So sponsor logo would be on all of our communications related to the Satellite Mobile Innovation Awards. You would have the sponsorship of the keynote. This is at the top level. You would have the opportunity to put collateral out on the tables at the event. You get a 1-month sponsorship of our weekly newsletter, so 4 weeks, a feature article included as well, and then you get your VIP table included. So a lot of great benefits in being a premier title sponsor. And then there's other levels here that you can see the different benefits related to those. And all of this information, again, is out on the website as well. So any questions or comments? Okay. Okay. Just a couple more things to hear. Game Changers Live is our live cast that we do. It broadcasts on YouTube Live and actually LinkedIn Live at the same time. We typically do it we're trying to do these every week or every other week. We've done a couple of episodes so far. You can see them here. These are all available for replay on our website. You just go to msua.org/ what is it? Is it webcasts? So, but you can navigate to it on the website as well. So all of the replays for all of our events are at that msua.org/webcast, which I should have put on this page, but in any case, next week we'll be interviewing Rebecca Cohen-Hirsch from Inmarsat, and we have several others booked already. I have been reaching out to your marketing teams and inviting them to get executives from your various organizations set up to present. If you haven't heard anything about this, definitely feel free to reach out to marketing@msua.org to get something scheduled. But these are great. We take the live events and we transcribe that into an article, and then we submit that interview article. One, we post it to our website, we put it on social media, and then we also submit it to Sat News. So it's a great way to get broad interest. And what we're really focused on is having experts and thought leaders from each of your organizations talk about your views on what the future looks like in the satellite industry and what users really need to be thinking about as they look at various satellite services. So another, I guess, great new program that we've rolled out this year from MSUA. Okay, so another program that we have are the Pulse webcasts, and we've done several of these. We started this late last year, and we have again. Oh, so I did put the website address here. So msua.org/webcast, you can see all of the previous episodes as well as upcoming episodes. Register to attend those upcoming episodes. We have our next one will be our Brave New World Telecom Constellations interview with Mark Matosian. If you were at last year's awards banquet, he was the keynote speaker. So we had gotten a lot of really great feedback on his session at our MSUA awards banquet last year. And so I wanted to bring him back and have him kind of in an interview format talk about these telecom constellations. So it'll be a really interesting session. And that comes up in April. And then we have a couple of other upcoming sessions, and we are still looking for speakers on some of these. So if you know someone that you'd like to recommend, certainly feel free to do that. The really simple email address to remember is marketing@msua.org for all of these types of things. So feel free to suggest speakers or topics. Okay. And we do have a new MSUA member that joined this month, Ovzon, and they joined as a member. So we will always recognize our new members. You'll see that they get a place in our satellite mobile news, and then also on our website as well. So it's great to have new members. And I just wanted to mention that if you do refer in a new corporate member, this is a new paying corporate member, you get a 1 month sponsorship of our newsletter, and a new small business member is a 1 issue sponsorship of the newsletter. So you can feel free to make any referrals at membership@msua.org. And I don't want this to confuse the issue with the new new user program. So if there's another like service provider or solution provider that you would like to recommend, that would be how to do that. So any questions or thoughts? Okay. As I mentioned earlier, we do have this member advisory group, Ashley Wakeland from Blue Sky Network, Roger McGarrahan from Pathfinder Digital, and then Jennifer Hoyle, who you heard from today from SD Engineering iDirect, are all participants on this member advisory group. Again, if you know people that you think would be a great fit for this group and you'd like to have additional influence in the future of the organization and some of the programs that we're rolling out, you can see that our areas of focus are really focused on, looking at our member benefits, looking at user engagement, and looking at just member engagement in general. So please feel free to refer other people into our advisory group. This is a really great supportive group. And honestly, I cannot thank these individuals enough for all of their great input and ideas and just creativity. They've really been so beneficial to our organization already. So thank you to our member advisory group. Okay, I want to talk about coming up in April. So we have some really exciting things coming up in April. Euroconsult will be joining the call. They'll be talking about some upcoming programs and some new discounts and offers for MSUA members. So you won't want to miss it. We'll obviously give updates on Satellite 2021, any new things that are coming up on that. But we'll also talk about World Satellite Business Week, which I know isn't until September, but time goes really fast. And then we'll talk about new training discounts and new research discounts and other things. So be sure to get April 15th on Thursday, April 15th on your calendar. And we'll get those calendar invites out to you a little bit sooner now that I found a good way to do it. Or at least I think I found a good way to do it. So any questions, folks?
Nope, but I will say you did find a better way to do it for the invitations. So well done.
Oh gosh, there goes the dog. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, it's yeah, so when you get that, I did set up a Gmail account. Guys, I know this sounds really crazy, but you cannot invite a huge number of people using Outlook without people seeing the entire list. So that's why I set up the Gmail account for MSUA.org. That's why you're getting a Gmail account invitation from us, but that's been a great way for us to be able to send out the invite without sharing the entire list with the whole recipient list. So in any case, hopefully that's working out great for everybody and easier to get the event on your calendar. So we'll go ahead and get that April invite out straight away and get reminders as well. So any other comments or questions? Okay, great. Well, we really appreciate you attending our member meeting this month, and we look forward to seeing you in April.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thanks, Lisa.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.